Hello everyone, this is Sibel Edmonds, and this is a follow-up on our previous overview of the recent Belgium bombing, carrying every single hallmark of Operation Gladio B. Specifically, today I want to present one of the common trademarks present in all Gladio B synthetic terror operations since 9/11. We are going to look at how Gladio's terror operations always come with multiple forewarnings, and how, despite all the scripted and on-the-record forewarnings, the operatives are allowed to travel, communicate, and execute the intended and synthetically created terror plots. Before the Belgium attack, the supposed perpetrators were known to police and security services in all Operation Gladio hubs. Operation Gladio headquarters in the USA, European HQ Belgium, Great Britain, and Turkey. Intelligence agencies in all of these hubs knew that 1. An attack was being planned, 2. They allowed it to continue and get to be executed. The brothers, Khalid and Ibrahim el-Bakrawi, the two men suspected of blowing themselves up during the attack on the airport, had been arrested for violent crimes in Belgium. However, they were both curiously and mysteriously released. Both brothers were known to authorities before the attacks and were wanted by Belgian police. In 2010, Brahim was convicted of shooting at police officers with a Kalashnikov during an armed robbery. He was sentenced to 9 years, but was quietly, and yes, mysteriously, set free. In 2011, Khalid was convicted for a number of carjackings, but again, curiously, received only probation for his repeated crimes. But wait, there is even more. Only a few days before this false flag operation, there was a major anti-terror raid at the brothers' apartments where an Algerian immigrant named Mohammed Balkaid, a key member of the Paris plot with known ties to ISIL, was killed. Let me read it. The name and other personal details of the Algerian killed Tuesday during a police raid in Belgium match those of an ISIS fighter who wanted to be a suicide attacker. Mohammed Balkaid, 35, was neutralized during a shootout with French and Belgian police at an apartment in the Forest district of Brussels. The raid targeted people suspected of helping those responsible for the horrific November terror attacks in Paris. Belgian prosecutors said that they had found the fingerprints of fugitive Paris attacker Salah Abdelsam at the scene of the raid. It gets better because these guys were also on US terror list. Ibrahim el-Bakrawi, one of the Brussels suicide bombers, was on a US counterterrorism watch list before the November attacks in Paris, and his brother Khalid was put on the list shortly afterwards, okay? So these guys were also on the United States' own terror watch list. Let's look at another hub, Turkey. And let's go further and look at how all 3 Brussels bombers were flagged by Turkish authorities and how Belgian authorities were notified not once, but repeatedly on these bombers. Brussels airport suicide bomber Ibrahim el-Bakrawi, 29, was deported from Turkey not once, but twice in the past year and sent back to Europe. The Turkish government issued multiple warnings to Belgian and Dutch counterparts regarding the 3 Brussels bombers. According to Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, Ibrahim el-Bakrawi was detained on July 14, 2015. Turkish officials informed the Belgian embassy about his deportation with a note, but that Belgian officials could not find any link between al-Bakrawi and terrorist networks, so he was released. A determined Ibrahim al-Bakrawi returned a second time to Turkey, less than a month after his first deportation. By this point, his name was already on Turkey's blacklist, so Turkish officials deported him, again, on August 25th. Unbelievably, Ibrahim al-Bakrawi was still not apprehended by EU officials. The other two known Brussels attackers had also come to Turkey before Ibrahim. His younger brother, Khalid, 27, landed at Istanbul's Atatürk Airport on November 4, 2015, just 4 months ago. Turkish officials monitored him before he left the country 10 days later, one day after the Paris attacks. And then we have Najim Lakroui. Najim Lakroui, 24, the fellow Brussels airport suicide bomber and alleged master bomb maker, who's believed to have been instrumental in the November 2015 Paris attacks, which killed 130 people, also made his way to Turkey. He landed in Turkey on February 17, 2013, but when authorities contacted their Belgian counterparts to inquire into his background, they responded his record was clean, so he was not deported. It is not known when he returned to Europe, but on April 9, 2014, newspapers report Belgian police issued a warrant for his arrest for being a member of terrorist organization, and his name was added to the long blacklist of suspected foreign jihadis banned from entering Turkey on June 16, 2014. Belgium issued an Interpol red notice for Lakroui on March 2, 2016. That's right, about 2.5 weeks before the attacks. And French officials followed suit on March 18, 2016, only 4 days before the deadly attacks. So now, let's go back quickly to the supposed ISIL Paris attack and look at an identical script here. Omar Ismail Mostafai was the first to be identified of the dead gunmen and suicide bombers who carried out simultaneous attacks across Paris. French police ignored 2 warnings about Mostafai before he helped carry out the attack in Paris, which killed 89 people. Check this out. Turkish authorities twice flagged up the 29-year-old, and this is Omar Ismail Mostafai, as a possible terror suspect last year, but their alerts were unanswered until after Friday's Paris attack. How familiar is that? Like déjà vu. Omar went into Turkey in 2013, and he thought to have gone on to Syria at some point. Turkish authorities say that they warned France about possible terrorist links twice in December 2014 and June of 2015, but that French authorities did not respond until after the attack on November 13, 2015. As you can see, the recent Belgium bombing exhibits the common Operation Gladio B trends. Full immunity and protection of terror implementers combined with on-record scripted forewarnings issued by Operation Gladio hubs. We see this with this recent plot. We saw it in the previous plot executed in Paris. And of course, we saw this exact same trend in the false flag attacks on September 11, 2001. There will be more to discuss and analyze on this latest Operation Gladio B synthetic terror event. In our next episode, we'll be looking at what has been already taking place since the execution of the plot in Belgium, which objectives are being pursued and pushed, and who benefits from it all. This is Sibel Edmonds. I'll be back with more soon.